we're quickly finding out that CM Punk was not the issue with AEW. And we're finding out that the issue with AEW is being stuck in your ways. My way is the right way and there is no other way. And make no mistake, I say that while also knowing that the segments that the Young Bucks are in currently and the storyline that they're trying to make is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So the Jack Perry thing, showing the footage of Punk beating the fuck out of Jack Perry.
Yeah.
You can either say that it was stupid because it just showed CM Punk beating the fuck out of Jack Perry, or you could say it was semi-smart because it made Jack Perry a massive heel.
Yeah.
Now, after the Young Bucks beat the fuck out of Kenny Omega, there really hasn't been that much progression with that story. But the way that it's kind of lining up is it looks cool, where you have the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, and Okada all in a faction. But the problem with that is, like, if you were smart, and I think that's another problem with AEW, there isn't a lot of payoffs, it feels like. If you were smart, the clear direction this is going is Kenny Omega healing from diverticulitis. Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi versus the Young Bucks. They're going to do Kenny and...
Then Hangman comes in there somehow.
Yeah, and Hangman versus the Young Bucks, which is not how it should be.
Yeah.
They're going to... Tony Khan would fucking... You would be foolish not to do Omega versus Okada.
Let's also go back to this, okay? When did they start becoming a company? Like 2018?
2019. 2019.
So 2019 to 2021.
Peak.
They were better than WWE.
Yeah, it was lights out. But who was running WWE at the time?
Yeah, no, but that's 100%. But even if you would put that content up against WWE content right now,
yeah,
it would be competable.
Yeah. No, 1,000%.
And so the big thing I have a problem with too is going back to what you said where there's no payoff. The reason why people got interested in the Elite, Bullet Club, all that stuff in New Japan is because of the long-term storytelling that they had with the Okada and Kenny matches, the Golden Lovers versus the Elite, you know, all the
Cody turning heel.
Cody turning heel on the Bullet Club, all that. It was long-term storytelling and it all paid off. And I think that's what everyone thought was going to happen in AEW.
And you can, like...
There hasn't been many ones that have paid off.
Like, when I think of, like, the bigger story, like, the one big one that paid off was Omega and Hangman.
Yep. It's the only one I'm really thinking of.
Like, even, like...
MJF and Adam Cole.
MJF and Adam Cole ran forever, but it still hasn't felt like it paid off because Cole got hurt.
Yeah.
And they can't wrestle each other.
No.
Which is not anyone's fault, but, like, why would you have... I get it, like, you had Cole turn on MJF to allow MJF to go away for a little bit, but when he came back, Cole is still hurt, and you can't get a payoff for that storyline. What is MJF going to do now?
Exactly.
Dick around for a little bit?
And we also didn't throw in that Jericho sucks.
But it didn't used to be like that. Like, at the beginning, like, when he first went to...
Can I be honest? Since Kenny versus Jericho, great.
Yeah.
His run in New Japan, great.
Yeah.
When he went over to AEW, I understood. Okay? Then he created 7 factions.
The Inner Circle was cool.
He said the Inner Circle. He said the fucking one with the fucking Revival too. Now he has this one. He had one before that. That's at least 4.
No, I didn't. I said one of them was cool.
Yeah. This guy sucks now.
Yeah. Well,
and no one and he's getting, like, he's making fun of please retire chants, and no one's saying that out of disrespect. Yeah. Because everyone thinks Jericho is a top wrestler of all time.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's conversations for
top 10 at least.
Yeah.
But it's like, he's making fun of it, and it's like, I saw him post something about, and it's like, yeah, but like, do you even see what you're doing? Because you're not doing anything that's beneficial to anyone. Like, you're with Big Cass right now. Like,
I get it from the perspective of like trying to build Big Cass, but it's not. I don't know. Because Jericho in 29, like so when AEW first created, putting the belt on Jericho was the right move.
yeah.
And he was a really great heel with the Inner Circle.
Mm-hmm.
He feuded with Cody.
Cody, then Kenny, from Kenny winning it.
Kenny won it off Moxley.
Oh, yeah, so Mox.
He held it too long.
No, Mox has always been like a transition champion.
Mox held it for the entirety of COVID.
I didn't even feel like that.
He held it for 2020. He held it for like a year and a half, and then Kenny took it from him at the end of COVID, and then.
So we've been naming a lot of problems, okay?
Yeah, but
the solutions. I will tell you my take.
Okay.
First of all, let's say you're gonna have time to talk about your take of it, and then you can go off my points. I'll talk about mine. First of all, Tony Khan needs to stop fucking looking at WWE like competition and be his own thing.
Agree.
It just needs to be its own thing, because the things that they excel in, like in ring, you have, and they proved it, you have two of probably the best wrestlers in ring, Ospreay and Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson, whatever the fuck you want to call him.
Yeah.
If you want to, you have Okada too. You have Kenny Omega.
And when Kenny Omega's on.
When Kenny Omega's on, he's the best.
He's the greatest on the planet.
It's not
It's
close.
not really close.
And the thing is like, you have guys like that, focus on that. And those guys are smart enough that they can create storylines. Creative freedom is great until it turns in to a clash of ideas and personalities that are just, it's too much. So you need to put your fucking foot down at some point and be like, this is how we're gonna do it. And you need to have a creative team that you actually fucking listen to. And part of those guys that need to be in that creative team are someone like Daniel Bryan. And then you can have one head out of the Elite. Have it be Kenny Omega. Don't have it be the Young Bucks. They're politicians backstage.
But even Kenny Omega tells you that he doesn't like being a VP.
So, get him out of that and put someone else. But put someone that knows what they're talking about.
Don't put a wrestler in it.
No.
Yeah, if you put a wrestler in it, put a retired wrestler in it.
Yeah, and the thing is I also think it comes back to, I get you started Collision because of CM Punk. That needs to be gone.
Yeah.
Collision's gone. If you're gonna add another hour, do a brand split like they did back in the day. And I'm not talking about the brand split that they do today in WWE. I'm talking about SmackDown and Raw 2002 to 2005. It needs to be Rampage versus Dynamite, and you have separate storylines on both of them. And they're both 2 hours long. They both book up time for each person. I don't need to see, I like Swerve Strickland. I don't need to see him 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I can see him once. And you can have a crossover every once in a while. He's the champion, okay? If you want to do another champion, that's great. But there are so many titles right now.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't have the star power.
No, you don't have that. So the thing is you need to separate those, and even because the talent's there. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you look at it, okay, like in terms of stars, okay, you have Ospreay, you have Mox, Omega, Okada, you have, who am I missing? I'm missing a lot of guys.
Kenny Omega.
I said Omega.
Oh, MJF.
Adam Cole.
But you have to look
Daniel Bryan.
You have to look at it from the perspective of there's stars that are great wrestlers, and then but Ospreay's not selling tickets.
No, but the hard part is he's not in a situation to sell tickets, and I don't think that's his fault.
That is true, because these guys are talented enough to sell tickets. I went to go watch this wrestling show because of Kenny Omega. I went to go see it because of Jon Moxley. I went to go see it because of... That was it. It was Kenny Omega and Jon
Well, you
Moxley.
got to think, that was at the time when AEW first began.
Yeah.
And you got to think now, it's... Like, you can even tell, like, through interviews, like, Mox is done. Mox, like, he's done with the bullshit backstage.
Yeah.
Like, I think Mox is out of wrestling or done sooner than people think he is.
Well, I think so too. But I also think if you're Triple H, you're doing everything in your power to go get him.
I just don't think he'll ever come back.
I mean,
I know everyone says whatever, but he likes to bleed.
Yeah.
He likes
That's not
he
his
likes to
thing.
do it. He likes to do that, and that's the reason why he wouldn't come back. I don't think it's because he wouldn't come back because he doesn't like anyone there or whatever.
Yeah.
I genuinely think he
Just
just
not
wants
his
to
type of wrestler.
Yeah, he just wants to wrestle like he wants to wrestle, which is understandable. It's just like Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan said he wanted to bleed. Daniel Bryan would be the top guy in WWE right now, and one of the top guys.
Oh, yeah.
If he was, Triple H would have pushed him to the moon.
Yeah.
Guy can wrestle, tell a story. I mean, that's a guy that should be leading your backstage. And they say he is, but like, in terms of creative, is he? Because I don't see any storylines.
Well, so if you were me and you had AEW and you were like, okay, we have a year to try and turn this around. As soon as I can, I'd can Collision.
It would be one of the first things on my bucket list.
Yeah. Like immediately, I get it, there's like TV deals and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but
Quality is more important than quantity, and that was the one thing I was very interested in AEW when they first started, is that they had pay-per-views every 2 months or every 3 months.
that's what they're doing now.
Good, but it wasn't...
No, they're doing too many pay-per-views.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was quantity. It was quality over quantity in the beginning. You had 4 pay-per-views a year. I think you should go back to doing 4 pay-per-views a year and all in London every 2 years.
And also, if you want to do the day 1, day 2 thing that everyone's doing now,
Whatever.
Yeah. Do that. If you want to fit matches on there, I don't care.
Do your special...
More wrestling for us.
Do your special dynamites.
But more wrestling, again, don't get that mistaken, for we want the pay-per-views to be quality. Day 1 and day 2 still means you're in the right mindset for planning that to have it just be one pay-per-view.
I think that can Collision, move Rampage to fucking Thursdays. Why are we hanging out on Fridays at 10 p.m.? Nobody's watching this show. It is 300,000 concurrent viewers. That's not good.
Also, it's going up against SmackDown.
It's stupid.
SmackDown's too hot right now.
Yeah, and if you're Tony Khan, to go back to what you were in the beginning, you were an alternative to WWE. You were not a competitor to WWE. You're not going to win that fight right now. Throw some shots here and there, blah blah blah, like they did back in the day. I wouldn't, because you don't have ground to stand on.
No.
Back then you did.
Bischoff was racking in those numbers. As much as I disagree with 99% of the stuff that WCW did, he's racking in numbers. Racking in numbers, 83 weeks is 83 weeks.
Yeah.
He beat him at one point. You have not. And every time you make excuses, and I get it, there's a lot of things that you're playing catch up, but you can't just bitch at them for no reason.
Another thing I would do, get a star on the world title. I like Swerve Strickland. You need a Daniel Bryan on that title. Bryan Danielson on that title. You need a... That's it. He's the only person who can... I get it, he's retiring soon.
I think maybe even, like, if you built him back, Cole.
If he's not... if you built him back, but he's hurt.
That's what I'm saying.
And like, you could put it back on MJF right now, but I think you have to figure out something for him to do that's cool.
I think you don't put it on MJF right now for the simple fact of, I still think Joe was a great champion and a great choice. how Joe beat MJF, it makes Joe look weaker, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, like, Joe choked his ass out. And, like, he was done.
I guess the fear with Joe is that he's hurt so often.
Yeah, but he hasn't since he's been there.
Yeah, he hasn't been hurt yet, which is good.
He's working less days.
I would just put it on
Brian
right now and just
ride his momentum out until he doesn't want to do it anymore, until he wants to be in the backstage.
Yeah, and he is going to retire soon.
Very soon. I think he said within the next year.
Yeah. I think that and we're going over time, but I think that is the important thing. You need to not associate yourself with a competitor to WWE. You need to go back to a quality over quantity system, and you need to get your stars back in the fold. Like, and not that Swerve Strickland isn't a star. It's that you're bleeding right now. You need to pull the big guns out.
I think you also need, if Daniel Bryan's going to be that person, you need someone backstage that isn't Tony.
Oh,
that has
yeah.
so much respect.
Yeah, get a guy back. WWE had a Mark Calloway.
Yeah, you need
a
guy that, like, everyone looks at that's like, oh fuck, like, he's the big dog, like, whatever he says goes, and he keeps everyone in check.
Yeah, if you were smart, that would have been CM Punk. But we fucked that up.
Don't let the boys just...
Yeah, there's a difference between creative freedom and creative control.
Perfect.
You don't want the zoo. You don't want the animals to run the zoo. Yeah. Anyways. Thanks for watching our rant. We just talk about bullshit.